Superman revealing his identity. Is it a good idea? Look, I know I'm late to the party with this. It just happened like a couple months ago now, but and it happened a couple years before that too. So, uh, why do people feel the need to do this? Is it a good idea? What does this do to the character? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, this is Perch. I'm trying to think if of all the characters in comics, I think with maybe the exception of Bruce Wayne, and they're mucking about with that too, but I think Clark Kent and the secret identity of Superman is probably the most famous or mythical secret identity, if you want to put it there. I think Spider-Man, Peter Parker might get there depending on where you're at, but I mean in terms of kind of the global consciousness of comics and secret identities, I think that Bruce Wayne gives Clark Kent a run for his money, but generally speaking, because of kind of the silliness of the disguise, the glasses, and that's about it. He's a reporter, but he's Superman, and the fact that because he's Superman, he doesn't need to do any of this. I mean, arguably, Bruce Wayne needs to have that life. Batman is not just all powerful, can fly around, do whatever he wants. Superman is. So the need for Superman to have a secret identity is really kind of core to his personality of an alien among us, somebody who's otherworldly, who is learning about humanity by being one. Um, that's the nature of Superman's identity, but certainly of late in the New 52, the secret identity came out, and then they put all that back in the box for Rebirth and everything else, and then we got the reveal by Brian Michael Bendis, and kind of the most, in my mind. So this is where some people. Okay, I'll say this in the offset. There are people who like Bendis's writing. There are people who do not like Bendis's writing, and for me, I think it goes both directions. I don't identify as pro Bendis or anti Bendis. I'm non-identifiable Bendis. I think that the his earlier work is better. I think if anything, it's trending to more of the dislike, and it's for all the reasons I've talked about this stuff before. You don't need to rehash it all here, but the Superman secret identity reveal is kind of it falls right in line with a lot of the reasons that Bendis's writing irritates me, which is hey, we got to reveal the secret identity. It's important to be truthful, and so I need to come out, and it kind of it disregards a lot of the core foundation of the character, which was, hey, I've got this secret identity because I want to be able to be treated commonly. I want to be able to live among humans, and I want to retain that part of humanity that my pa taught me back in Kansas. And I want to Smallville in Kansas. Did we decide that? I now that I'm thinking about it, I just threw something out there, and who knows where Smallville is? I'm just going to say Kansas. Why not? Um, it's late at night, and this is where a lot of comic facts get muddled up, and I just start throwing stuff out of my mouth, which is not well informed. The exact opposite of what I claim this channel is going to be. I apologize for that. I am letting you all down right at this very moment, Smallville folks. Anyway, I think the core of what built Superman was that, yes, he had the ability to lord out over everyone. He had the ability to be treated at a different level of respect, and he had the internal humility to know that by humbling himself, by putting on this disguise, even though he didn't need it, that it gained him a core aspect of his soul, of his personality, of his relationship to everyone. He specifically didn't want to be treated differently. It was one of the differences between Clark Kent Superman and Bruce Wayne Batman, because Bruce Wayne did not live kind of among common people. Bruce Wayne was a playboy millionaire, and he lived a fancy playboy secret identity life, and then he lived a exciting vigilante costumed life. He lived, not to use the cliched word, he lived a life of privilege in both scenarios, whereas Superman, Clark Kent, deliberately picked a very humble life, was not trying to gain fame. He would get headlines as a reporter. He wanted to do a great job. He wanted to uncover the truth. It was complementary to kind of who he was as a superhero, because he could do things at a a big superhero, flying in and breaking things open with his fist couldn't do. He could help the world in a different way by exposing corruption and by by telling truth. It fit with his soul, with his personality. And so you take that away, and that's what's been taken away here of like, no, it's important for me to always be honest with you and not live a lie. And that's why I'm going to, be Clark Kent and Superman in one. That's why I'm revealing myself to the world. That's where I think it goes against who he was, who he is as a character. I think that's that to me a negative. So, you know, do why does DC decide to do this? Well, first off, it's a shocking thing. It's one of those, can you believe they're doing this kind of moments that comic books like to have, that remains kind of one of those silver bullets that they can pull out. And it was the exact same reason why in Civil War they wanted to have Peter Parker say, "I'm Spider-Man." It's very similar in a lot of regards. A big shocking moment, something you never ever thought they'd do, and it breaks the walls between his personal life and his Spider-Man persona. And it in theory it gives us some new stories. Now we get a what does it mean for this character to remove his secret identity? How does his life change? How does his world change and everything else? The problem is, if the character is Superman, who is near all powerful, one of the strongest characters in the entire DC universe, can do nearly everything. The gravity of the DC universe often revolves around him. The idea of hey, what does it mean when his secret identity is yanked away is not very interesting. Now, I have confidence. I'll say that I think Brian Michael Bendis here will tell some interesting stories. He'll put a new angle on it. And I do feel confident. I mean, I'm looking forward to reading those stories. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has up his sleeve in terms of what new angle can he bring Superman. Because historically, at least last time we did this in the New 52, there wasn't a good angle. Kind of at the end of it, it was just now he's flying around and he's doing his thing. Nothing really changed other than we clipped out that whole annoying secret identity part. Bendis tends to like that street level secret identity part, where he likes his people talking and doing stories and having conversations. He likes that dynamic of storytelling. So, I don't think Bendis is going to fall in the same trap that other writers have fallen into when they're presented with this. What happens when you take a secret identity away? At the same time, I just think you're removing storytelling potential off the table rather than adding it. And I think you're basically reinventing what makes the core of Superman's personality and his character and everything else into a very short-term, very limited view. That's my opinion anyway. What about you? Are you a traditionalist in the sense that you like Superman with his secret identity? You like Clark Kent? You like those two worlds separate? Or are you somebody who just doesn't care, and let's progress, let's move forward, let's try new things, let's always be moving forward? Which side do you fall on where all this stuff's concerned? I would love to hear your comments. Leave them in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. I'll try and get in there and reply to everything I can. I go in waves. Sometimes I reply to a lot of stuff, and then sometimes I get very busy with other jobs, and I can't keep up, and then I'm drowning in comments, and it's the best I can do to like things, and that's a terrible admission, but it is what it is. Life gets in the way, as they say. Like, subscribe if you don't mind. Subscriptions are helpful. Follow me on Twitter @ComicPerch, and thank you for listening.